Oliver finds happiness. Oh, please, Dr. Losburn, will you come upstairs and look at the poor creature? Rose begged. Of course, said the doctor. Will you show me the way, Giles? Giles, one of the servants, led the doctor to his patient. The doctor was absent for a long time. A large flat box was fetched out of his carriage. The bell in the bedroom was rung again and again. The servants went hurrying up and down the stairs. At last, the doctor came to the dining room to speak to the ladies. This is an extraordinary thing, Mrs. Maylie, he said. He is not in danger, I hope, the old lady said. No. He'll be well again in a week or two, the doctor informed them. Then he asked them, have you seen this thief? No. Hasn't Giles told you anything about him? No. Would you like to see him, if I come with you? Yes, I'd like to. I'd like Rose to come as well, if she wishes. The doctor took the ladies upstairs to Giles's room. He pointed towards the bed. There lies the wicked thief, who broke into your house, he said. The two ladies looked. To their astonishment, they saw a child there, fast asleep. A mere child. His face was white. His wounded arm lay across his chest. His head rested on his other arm. The ladies crept softly to his bed. Miss Rose bent over him. With a gentle hand, she brushed his hair from his forehead. The boy moved and smiled in his sleep as if he felt her kindness. What can this mean? Mrs. Maylie asked. This poor child is no thief. He is so young. Rose said with tears in her eyes. Let's go into the next room, Dr. Losburn said to the ladies. We mustn't wake him up. There, Miss Rose continued. Think how young he is. Perhaps he has never known a mother's care. Perhaps he has never had a home. Poor boy. Oh, Auntie, don't let them send this boy to prison. My dear, said the old lady. Do you think that I would harm one hair of his head? I haven't much longer to live. I must help as much as I can. What can I do to help this boy, Dr. Losburn? Let me think, the kind-hearted doctor said. For some moments, he looked thoughtful. Then he asked, can we trust the servants to say nothing about the boy? Yes, Mrs. Maylie told him. They'll do as I tell them. Good, said the doctor. But, first of all, let us hear what the boy has to say when he wakes up. If we find him innocent, we will help him. But, if we find that he is guilty, then we must hand him over to the police. Do you agree? The two ladies readily agreed, for they were sure that Oliver was innocent. Oliver slept on for many hours. In the evening, when he woke up, he was very weak. But he was anxious to tell his story. The ladies wept as they heard of his miserable life. The kind-hearted doctor tried hard to hide his tears. They did their best to comfort the boy. Oliver slept that night with a smile on his lips. He had found a home. When the police came to ask questions, Mr. Giles and Brittles were ready with their story. Oliver had accidentally wounded himself while playing with a gun. He had nothing to do with the robbery. The housebreakers were two evil-looking men. The servants, with the help of Dr. Losburn, told their story well. The police believed them. Oliver was left in peace. Oliver found love and kindness. Indeed, Mrs. Maylie and Rose loved the boy. So did the kind-hearted Dr. Losburn. At the beginning of spring, the Maylies took Oliver to their house in the country. There, the fruit trees were in blossom. The garden and the fields were full of flowers. Oliver had never known such peace and such happiness. Every morning, Oliver went to an old gentleman who taught him to read and to write. He went for a walk with Rose and Mrs. Maylie. In the evening, they sat together and talked, or Rose read aloud to them. Often, Rose played the piano and sang. Old Mrs. Maylie loved to listen to this. So did Oliver. Every night, He slept peacefully in a clean bed in his own room.